This way. Big meeting.
One on the left?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all for being here. Clerk, roll call.
Trustee Sewell.
Yeah.
Trustee Stewart.
Here.
Trustee Ball.
Present.
Trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes. Public comment, if anybody wants to speak? All good, we'll move on. Our community spotlight, I guess the weather was so nice, but it was one hope, and maybe we'll get them in here next time. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, and we'll be approving items A through D. Clerk?
Right, so, the Highway Commissioner's report, I sent you the wrong thing, so I'll correct that later, but, you got the minutes from last month, the regular meeting, the minutes of the annual meeting will be approved at the next annual meeting or special, town meeting. But, so you got these 4 items, so can we get a motion?
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda as,
Thank you.
I'll second.
Nikki?
General assistance.
This isn't the bills, this is
Yeah,
actually
this
the
is-
assessor's report and
Yeah.
stuff.
Reports and the minutes.
And again, it's gonna be amended, he'll send the one from Kathy.
Yeah, I'll send you Kathy's.
All good?
Correct one.
Questions?
Yeah.
Not, roll call?
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
Trustee Ball?
yes.
Trustee Gunther?
Yes.
Trustee Sewell?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. Before we go on to the approval of bills, I wanted to talk about something real quick, because it kind of bothered me during the annual meeting, and I didn't want to, this was the town's meeting, so I didn't want to jump in too much, but it came up about our IMRF fund being overdrawn. And I'm like, how in the world is that possible? There's no reason that I wouldn't have levied something if it was overdrawn. We didn't have any money. So our accountant came in and he says, no, we have $107,000 in that account. So what it is, and I'm gonna try to make it simple to understand, we have like one main account, the general fund. That's where the IMRF money from the state, it pulls from that account, okay? This was before we got here, maybe even a decade ago. That IMRF fund technically owed the general fund $100,000, okay? So basically it's taking money out of this pocket and putting it back into this pocket. Our accountant said that that can be forgiven. You can just write a note that says that's forgiven. But I'm gonna ask the auditor exactly how he wants to handle it. But I want everybody to know there is money in there. The reason I didn't levy for it is because if we would have levied, and I saw $107,000 in that line item, we would have been over 2.5 times. So if that makes sense, so.
Yeah, when we sat with him on the budget, I knew that we had that.
Right, it was
well
there.
overfunded and, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I didn't wanna create more than we needed
Yeah,
during the meeting.
It's the other way around. The
Yeah.
general fund owes the IMRF fund. So the cash is in there, but it doesn't appear like that on paper because it's
Okay.
a loan. But like you said, maybe we can just
Amend it, make it.
forgive that
And we just start fresh with the, you know, the levy, because we will have to levy some moving forward in that account. We just didn't want to be 2.5 times more than what it was.
So if the general fund paid the IMRF fund back, we'd have like 70,000 in there instead of being negative, whatever it is.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear that up. And then,
But just one
Yeah.
question, when we presented it as a budgetary line item, it was reflected as IMRF. It referred back, I think there were 2 items and one referred back to that delta, or to the money owed.
is that, you're saying in the budget it actually did that?
Yes.
Right,
In P&L.
exactly. And
Yes.
see, and I think what happened is we had a new auditor, so Shuffle and Boyle, they knew this, and they just kind of live with it every year, but the new auditor, they were reflecting what they actually saw, and I wasn't aware of it until
Yeah,
after.
so that annual financial report, we took them starting numbers from the audit, and the audit says, if you look at the audit, that the ending fund balance in the IMRF
Was
account is
107.
negative, no, it shows that
Negative.
it's negative 39,000, or whatever it was. But that's because we had a big cash credit that wasn't really reflected in it.
Understood, yeah.
So, just confusing. Unfortunately, the township finances are way, there's way too many accounts.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on to the bills and general assistance. You had a question?
Yeah, I was looking back 1 month to the next,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed for February,
Mm-hmm.
general assistance, we spent $5,802.54, and for March, it was $55,098. April, it was $11,084.
I got your answer.
Okay.
Okay. So April 1st starts our new fiscal year. If you remember the meetings that when I was trustee, I always had an issue with general assistance money going towards salaries, let's say. So what we did is we took the general assistance salary and we took that right out of the actual office salaries. Okay, so general assistance money now is going for assistance.
Okay, I
Just
was
general
wondering.
assistance.
Cause, that's what I noticed, it was the salaries that,
Yeah, and so
Okay.
that's the difference.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, I was just curious. Great,
Mhm.
I like
Yeah,
that.
you notice it's pretty low this month, isn't it?
Yeah, 230, is that all the people that walk in?
Well, because
and ask for
again,
help?
a lot of the money right now is coming from the county. And so it doesn't mean that the ladies in the office aren't working, they're working just as hard.
No, this-
No, what it means though is there's just as many people coming in, but what it is the money is coming from Madison County. We fill out all the paperwork, then we send it to the county, then they do all the.
Whatever they qualify for is what
Right.
they get.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
and so, and
We have
actually.
no control over that number, really.
Right.
No, but sooner or later, when the COVID money dries up, if it dries up.
Sure, we'll engage
Then
that.
we might have to start subsidizing and making up some of that out of our own pocket. But for now, like you said, basically, the primary thing we were spending out of there was salaries.
Mhm.
So, now that it's moved those,
Yeah.
there really isn't
Okay.
much coming out. And actually, the girls on general assistance have been a lot busier. Because now that the weather's gotten warmer, now all of a sudden, the power company and the gas company, now they're starting to send out notices to shut people off. So now,
So it's good that we have
We are
that. I just,
jammed.
I wanted to do the right thing because it always bothered me when I saw
No, I
that.
agree with what you're
You know,
saying there.
so-
right.
But that cost is still allocated to general assistance.
Absolutely, yeah, I mean, it's, it just, the office salaries, come out of the office salary budget, not the general assistance line.
Fund.
Yeah, so basically, if you look, Brad, the other items might be a little bit more, because it's not coming out of that line item, it's coming out of a different line item, if that makes sense.
Town general,
comes
is
out
that
of
what
town,
moved to?
town something.
Yeah, probably town general,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
And then, I noticed some ladies come in, we're gonna do our bills, and then we'll fit you in there, okay?
Okay.
All right? So, general assistance, clerk?
Okay, so, the general assistance bills for last month were in the amount of $239.90. We'll need a motion for approval of that expenditure.
Motion we approve that expense.
I'll second.
All right, roll call?
Trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Trustee Sewell.
Yeah.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Road and bridge expenditures were $138,273.91.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. No questions, roll call?
Trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Trustee Sewell.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Ball.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Nothing in road and bridge equipment, so in the town fund, we had expenditures of $101,254.27.
I motion we accept.
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, roll call?
Trustee Sewell.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Ball.
Yes.
Trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
And finally, the senior center, we had expenditures of $4,132.83.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Ball.
Yes.
Trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Trustee Sewell. Yes. Supervisor Cox.
Yes. And what we'll do, since we have, I believe it's One Hope, is that what it is? We'll have them step up to the microphone. I'm gonna kind of switch my camera so we can get you guys on and then explain what you do, and we'll kind of go back on the agenda if that's okay. Do we need a motion to do that, or?
No,
Okay.
fine.
So, yeah, you guys can step up.
The reason why we're here is Mr. Gunther here was kind enough to donate to our agency for our children who, high needs, dysfunctional backgrounds, may not have the needs to get those special Christmas gifts. And he was kind enough to round up his business associates, friends, family, the whole bit, and helped us out greatly last season. And then he invited us here so y'all can meet us as a business that does a lot of good in the community and the outlying community. One Hope has multiple offices in Illinois, Wisconsin, Florida. We have an office in St. Louis with different programs serving foster children or trying to keep families intact. Hence, we have the name of a program called Intact. They keep the children in the home and also take the whole family and put it on the right path. Two speakers to represent our two programs at the agency. Intact, Miss Renita Strickland is a supervisor. And our other program is IPS, which deals with foster kids, of which Miss Kathy Slaughter is both a foster mom and part of our very important staff to help the foster kids acclimate to their new homes. Tear it up, lady.
Good evening, everyone. I stand and represent the Intact Family Services Program. It is a program where the Department of Children and Family Services is our major component. All of our referrals come through the Department of Children and Family Services. These are typically the families who have received a hotline report of abuse or neglect. An investigation has been initiated on the household member of the family. Many of these families, some are substantiated with neglect and abuse, and then there are those who just have the opportunity to say that I need help. And so they have the opportunity to partake of our program, Intake, which is designed to be a 6-month program where we have workers that go in, do intensive services, arranging for the families to learn and use their family supports and their community supports to sustain without any future DCFS involvement, and just be able to maintain the children in the home. The program was initiated with the state probably, I would say, about 15 years ago. I've been in the field about 31 years. When I first started in 1991, everything that's happening now, the kids were going to foster care. They will be stuck in foster care. They will be adopted, and the families would have very low chances of being reunified. With Intact, it gives the parents the opportunity to work and correct any issues that they may be having while maintaining custody and care of their children in the home. Right now at our agency, we have 12 case managers, 3 different teams. We have 3 supervisors in our office in Collinsville, 907 Bluff Road, with 3 teams, a total of 12 case managers. These case managers go in, develop a relationship with the family, help them learn of the things that they may need help in, to help just learn to live a normal, sustainable life for themselves and for their children, especially because a lot of our parents, they may have the mental health issues, they suffer from substance misuse, you know, the regular inadequate supervision because they don't know how to access adequate daycare, so they're leaving the children home, or with individuals that don't have the capacity to actually be in supervision of younger children. 300 kids.
Wow. And how did you find out about it, Matt?
On Facebook, and so if I can help 30 kids in 4 days, then what we can do now, because we know who they are and what they support, we can blow 300 kids out of the water.
That's
right?
awesome.
So.
Well, we also do IPS services, which is the branch that I work for. I'm a foster parent support specialist. We work with kiddos, foster kids, youth in care, and some of them are in family placements, and they weren't prepared. We have kids who get, go in with grandma who's 71 and on a fixed income. So there is a multitude of things that IPS does. We're placement stabilization. We go in and try to make sure that that kiddo's not moved around, and because it causes more trauma every single time they're moved, right? I will tell you from being a foster mom for 14 years, that they come into care with absolutely nothing. I've had babies brought with just a onesie on, nothing else. You know, kids in the older brother's clothing, he came in a t-shirt, like literally just a t-shirt. So there is like I said, a multitude of things. We like to help provide Christmases for these kids. 9 times out of 10, they've, you know, been taken, and some of them are from, you know, our Intact department higher up, what is that, Charleston area, you know, and they even look for placement down here. We do foster care there as well. We also have MST, which is multi-systemic therapy, that, and I hit it with my flippy, that they go in and they work with children who are more prone to juvenile justice issues. They are kids who have truancy issues, and we refer, even Intact and IPS, we will refer. We have MST in our Collinsville office. They also have children. They have a caseload of 5 per worker, and they are 24 hours for those 5 people. They work very closely with those families so that the parents can navigate that.
What's the way, like, do you have a website and everything with all this information? Like,
Yes,
what's the
and
best
we-
way that somebody can, you know, if they're having issues, reach out? And then I'd
We'll
like to
we'll
get my
all that
office.
information
Yeah.
and
We have flyers
Okay.
and stuff that we have brought for you. We do have a website. My program also, I am one of the people who chair our TIP group with one of our other clinicians, Melissa Jensen. Her and I both do our trauma-informed parenting group. So we actually teach trauma-informed parenting to foster parents. And that way, because they don't know how to navigate trauma. I will tell you, the PRIDE training that we get as foster parents does not even touch trauma. And so these kids with these backgrounds, it's astonishing, okay? So to be able to help those kiddos navigate those trauma reactive behaviors that everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible. They have every right to feel how they feel. We just need the empathy to see that, right? And we need the training in order to make those outcomes good.
Right.
Whether it's adoption reunification, because we do work with bios as well, IPS will, in that transition back home to make sure that Intact is not called again. We all work very closely with each other. I also am starting a foster parent support group out of the Collinsville office because we need one. And what I would like to see happen is a back to school program too. So
Right.
where we can get those items for these kids.
so that was one of the main
Come on,
reasons, sorry to interrupt you,
No, go
but
ahead.
we had excess last year,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And so what we'll do, yeah, I will definitely have, we'll reach out to you after this meeting, because we have people come in sometimes that we're not sure exactly where to send them or what kind of help, and so it's great that you guys came in, and, you know, maybe we can help each other, you know, so.
Well,
that'd be
we
great.
would greatly appreciate the help, and I can tell you that IPS services on an average a year over 1,000 kids.
Wow.
You know, so we have, what is, like 15 clinicians here in Illinois, and then each of them have a caseload of 15. We do run 6 months. We have a lot of extensions because there are such traumatic things. We do linkage for therapy,
Yeah.
things like that as well. And anything to be supported. And I will tell you, our teams struggle the most. Anything that we've ever done, from Christmas trees and things like that, and put up, because I used to do Chris's job as well, so I used to be the one to navigate trying to find those gifts, right? They will buy for our littles a lot faster than our teens.
Oh, yeah,
Our
everybody wants to buy
teens
for a 3-year-old,
struggle,
but not a 16-year-old.
yeah, with being accepted, and felt like people really care about the teens.
Yeah.
You know, so that is something else that is very close to our hearts as well.
So I know, and I don't know if Chris mentioned it, but, so my chiropractor who helped back at Christmas is doing Christmas in July. They do that at their office. And they would
Awesome.
like to donate tablets and electronics and
Wow.
those types of things. So I'll put you in touch with him directly, and then you can just work
You
that
know
out with
where to
Alex.
find me.
Well, thank you guys so much for
Yeah,
coming in. You do
These
an excellent
brochures,
thing.
you were asking about, but the
Yep.
website is onehopeunited.org.
Okay, that's what I want, okay, one whole
Yeah.
Can I
united.
ask a question?
Yes.
Kids that age out of foster care program, are they enrolled in food stamps and housing subsidies, or do they have to find that as they go out?
Well, I was gonna say, both of us probably have a different perspective, because we're in two different elements. IPS will try to help link them, and we try to get them to go to college, because the state will assist them with that. And if they are going to college, they then continue to receive services, because we want the best foot forward for these guys, right? This is our future. So, we can, do those types of things if they age out and go the other way.
Is it, I was thinking the other day, this is a
Mhm.
topic of, my pet. We need to pass laws that they're automatically enrolled. Then if they don't need this service, just like anybody else, when you have income or you have support, you don't need it, they take you off the roll.
And that comes down to too, with you've got to remember, some of these kiddos have been in care for such a long stint. They can tell us our job better than we can tell them.
Yeah.
I have had kiddos turn around and repeat back therapy stuff, right?
What everybody's
To
told
a
them.
clinician,
Right.
and the clinician's like, you're 4,
Mhm.
when these kids are done, and they may not want the help, we encourage that they have that best foot forward. We encourage that they take trainings on how to manage bank accounts, things like that. We do have those at our disposal. We've got to get the teenagers to buy in.
Mhm. Well,
And we work
I'll be
diligent for
reaching
that.
out, and and maybe if we can set up a time that you stop by my office, or we can
Mhm.
come wherever, because I'd like the ladies in my office too, to understand everything you guys do.
Okay.
And then we can figure out some programs, if it's back to school, if it's around Christmas time, that we can all work together. Because I really like the sounds of what you guys are doing. So,
Okay.
yeah, if you want to leave those,
I
and then I'll put
appreciate that.
that
Thank
on our
you.
website and stuff too.
Thank you
Every time
so
leave them,
much.
we're gonna need it.
Just a couple of them would be fine. Yeah. Thank you
Well,
guys for
thank you
coming
so
in.
much for hearing us, and your support
glad you came.
was amazing. There were so many happy kids.
Okay, see you.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
ladies.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to reports by officers and committees. Kathy?
I was just going to share, Jim has the wrong report, which y'all know, but, I just received an email late this afternoon from township officials of Illinois. But anyway, Governor Pritzker signed the Public Act 102-0728. I need my glasses. But anyway, we can now, townships and road districts can purchase up to $30,000 without going out for bids per se. Not that I would spend $30,000 and not get bids from people, but you don't have to get official bids, is
Right.
what I'm saying.
Saves
going
a
there.
lot of red tape.
Yeah, so, anyway, that was passed, and the other thing I just wanted to share is, we are out mowing. I've had several people calling about mowing complaints, but it has been raining since February, I think, so, we are just, able to really get going. We tried to start several weeks ago, but the rain has just pushed us back and pushed us back. So, besides that, everything else is going good. We got bids on the, 3 streets, or 3 areas I was hoping to take care of through Chris Brothers, and we are gonna do that this year. So it'll be, where we ended at Woodridge Court in Dieterding Hills down to the end of Suncrest. We're gonna do the loop around Kimberly Court, and then, we're gonna do Holiday Hills, will all be done by Chris Brothers. And then we will be paving some roads ourselves, Barber Court, Fairlane Drive, St. Mary Drive, and there's some others we'd like to get in there if possible, so.
My precinct.
So anyway, that's where we're at with what's going on right now. I had a meeting today about the canals we need to take care of, and hopefully we can maybe get some funding for that, as I've been trying to get funding for 3 years, so hoping I can get some kind of help on that. And, our Lebanon Road project is moving ahead. The holdup right now is purchases of property. Hopefully that'll be moving forward, and, we'll be hopefully going out for bids on that in the fall, so. That's where things stand as far as the bigger projects in that go right now.
Cool.
Thanks.
Kathy, thank you for coming in.
Oh,
I
sure.
appreciate it. Assessor has submitted his report, and then trustees, whatever you guys got. Anything?
I'm good this week.
Okay. I'll take the senior center. We got all new heating and cooling units all installed. And want to thank Jim, he really spearheaded that and helped get us money at the city and at the county. And so, and you can tell like the air is fresher in here. It is a little warmer right now, but we've had to turn it up a few times. It's gotten a little chilly, but you can tell a difference. Also, Senior Center, we're now having a country western band once a month. They come in and these are volunteers. One of them comes from Kimmswick, one of the band members.
Wow.
And we had an awesome time, about a little over 100 people in here. They were dancing all the time. It was awesome. So we got, every month we got one coming up.
Like at lunchtime, right?
Yeah, it's early. They like it earlier. You know, they're done by 2. So
It's nap time then.
I want to thank Holly Schultz. She's a local musician and she is amazing. She came in and played the other day for everybody at lunch for our Mother's Day celebration, and we're going to get her in here more too. We're starting something new. It's called Wake Up Wednesday. We're going to do it every Wednesday. Starting at 8:30, it's either going to be breakfast the first day of the month, or we'll have donuts and coffee, and so people can come in here and conversate. It's $2, and we'll have the TV on and stuff. And it's just a place to hang out and gather, and because a lot of these, I know a lot of people used to go to Hardee's or McDonald's. Their lobbies are still closed,
Yeah,
So
right.
anyway.
So let's not make it Egg McMuffins?
Well, she gets a wild hair every now and then. So anyway, we served 971 people last month.
Wow.
So great job on that. And we do a monthly trivia. So we're always adding stuff. And good news, I just got an email from MCT. Their bus is in. They're painting it. And
Wow,
so
cool.
we'll have a big ribbon cutting, I'm thinking right around the 1st of June. Okay? Yeah, absolutely. So that's all I have. Jim?
The only thing I have to add to my report is, I didn't put it on there, but we're gonna be using Madison County's gonna be using the Senior Center for early voting for the primary. So that's June 13th to 17th, and then 2 Saturdays, the 18th and the 25th. So, I always try to play that card whenever we're trying to get some money from Madison County that use this facility for early voting.
All right. So next item is a review of required collateralization of funds in excess of FDIC limits. What this is I was constantly getting, and I'm sure you guys have as well, the certain few or whatever saying we're not, there's FDIC limits. What is it,
Right.
$250,000, okay? And so we have more than that in the bank. So if the bank failed or something,
Yeah.
would our money be protected? So I just reached out to FCB, and it's in your package, and they provided that, yes, they have, it's all protected.
Diversified, right?
There, yeah, so it's,
That's all they had to do.
but I just wanted to make sure, and so
Right.
if anybody ever asked, we did our, so we went out and made sure. that was-
It's actually in the financial policies, as our board policies we approved last year, and FCB is doing exactly what we asked them to do in the policy, in our own policy.
So that's the question is, do we audit that to make sure that they continue to do?
They're
that,
actually
or
supposed to
they
be
do it?
supplying us reports monthly on how our funds are collateralized. Is a big word, because we have like a lot of money in
Right.
FCB, like over 4 million. So, and we have not as much, but we have a couple of big CDs at
Collinsville Building Loan.
Building Loan, so. But anyway, like I said, it's all laid out in detail. I mean, it was a legitimate question, but it's all laid out in detail on our financial policies, and FCB is complying with what we tell them to
Yeah.
do, so. It's no issue.
Anymore. Good.
Moving on to new business, Maryville Fire Protection District appointment. We actually make these appointments, the Board of Trustees and the Township. And so I got a letter from this gentleman, maybe Jim, you take this one.
Yeah, so, we got a letter, and, I mean, it was news to me, but apparently we appoint people to the Maryville Fire
Yeah, we
Protection
have it.
District. And they're 3-year terms, and we got a letter from Mr. Jeffrey W. Scheider, who lives on Suandra in Collinsville, who's currently on the board, asking us to reappoint him to another 3-year term.
And he's been on the board for quite some time, and it seems like that volunteer board, it's doing well. They meet, I believe, once every 3 months up at the Township building.
We appoint volunteers?
Yeah. It's
We have
one
a
of the
whole
things.
file, but we've been doing it
To the-
for,
Okay, no, I mean,
Right.
it's odd, but I mean, why wouldn't we appoint him? He's a volunteer.
I don't know, but we.
Well, there's a lot of things like, I mean, by state or whatever, that
For sure.
we don't get paid for, but they are appointed positions.
No, that's not, the fire board, that's not like the board of trustees that we're talking about, are we?
It's
Fire
the
protection.
Maryville Fire Protection District,
Okay,
so it has
We
nothing to do with the
appoint-
Board of Trustees.
okay, we just appoint a fireman?
No, we appoint anybody.
Do you want to speak
What
to
is
it,
the
Kathy?
term?
You're just appointing someone to the board of the fire protection.
Well, that's what I
They're
thought.
not,
Same
yeah, they're
guy.
not a
Yeah,
fire.
The same guy that's already
Okay,
on the board.
okay.
Yeah,
We're
they're
just
not a fire
reappointing
man.
him
The
to
board
another
of
term.
trustees, okay, that's what I was trying
Yeah,
to.
this isn't a newbie, he's been on there for a long time.
No, that's fine,
So,
He's a
we're good with it,
retired
yeah.
firefighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things in this file that go back to the seventies, so this is nothing new, this has been
Correct.
going
No,
on forever.
great.
It's
We
odd,
got
because
a
I
vote
didn't
on
know about it, but I mean, I
Right.
don't see any reason why we
Yeah.
wouldn't.
So if anybody wants to make a
Yeah,
motion.
so this is actually a reappointment of
Yeah,
this
okay, I'll motion that we
Jeffrey Scheider.
what are we nominating?
We are reappointing him to another 3-year term.
How do you spell Schneider?
Scheiter. Jeffrey W.
So I motion that we reappoint them for another 3-year term.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Sewell?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Trustee Gunther?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. Next is the award of contract for the annual audit. As you guys know, last year we switched it up. The advice I got from a lot of people is it's good, you know, every so often, 10 years or so, to switch it up. And so we had a new board, and so it's fresh set of eyes. I thought they did a really good job last year because we got on it a little bit late because of the COVID and everything. And he gave us a pretty good deal on it, and he said he would do it for the same price this year.
I would like to propose that they come in and they give us that audit and let us have a month to look at it.
Before
We
we,
have to vote on it. Can that be done? How do we do that?
Well, I don't know, we
Instead
don't-
of they
we don't-
throw the audit
I
at
don't
us,
think we
don't
we get
approve
about
it. We don't
15
approve
minutes
it.
to
They
look
They
at
don't
it.
approve the
They give
audit
us-
anyway.
Yeah,
The audit's
Done
just
by statute.
a fact.
Yeah, we don't approve that.
no.
I think they just give it to us, and if it's something bad in there, then we just have to fix it.
And if
know,
you
or-
remember from last year, he comes in, he makes a presentation, and it
Yeah.
kind of goes through it.
They'll
and
answer
explains.
questions, but I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything that we can approve or disapprove.
What they find is what they find.
Well,
They-
well, this is true. Okay, I see, that's the point. Yeah, that's.
But he'll come in, once he gets it all done, Brad, he'll come in, and
It's up
you
to
can
us
ask
to
him any
read the audit.
questions.
It's up to us to read
Yes.
the audit and look at the problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, all right, that answers my.
Yeah, because there
question.
was one issue on the front page where they said, and we
Yeah.
talked about that.
Now, maybe the question is, can we have that audit, receive it, and review it before he comes in, so that
Oh,
we have
absolutely.
that ample time?
Maybe that's
Absolutely.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
make sure that you do that.
we probably did.
Well, the thing is too, like I said, we were a little bit rushed, because there's
Yeah.
a certain time you have to have it done
Yeah.
by, and so that's,
There's
I'll
actually-
make sure that happens.
There's actually a report that they file on our behalf with the state, and that has to be done by certain
And
deadlines.
again, Derek, what's feasible? I mean, we don't know, right?
Yeah,
So
I
let's look and see what
Yeah,
is
yeah,
and.
but I'm with you, and that's why I tried to get this budget, because last year when we were put in, May 17th, we had to have a budget posted and everything, we had a special meeting, it was real quick turnaround. I'm trying to be ahead of things, and I think we're gonna be
Right.
just fine, so you'll have that month
Yeah,
to look at
there
it
we
this
go.
time,
Okay.
okay, before we call it.
And that's the comptroller? Is that the report that you have to submit?
Yeah, it's the annual financial
Yeah.
report.
Yeah, and that has to be done by a certain time, so anyway.
And then we file a copy
They're
of
not gonna
that
find
with
anything wrong with the way
with
we're
the
running it.
county.
Well, I mean, there's always gonna be, I want them to do a good job, because we wanna do the best, so, but it's CJ Slosher.
Yeah, CJ Slosser, the amount is $11,500. Do we need a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Trustee Gunther?
Yes.
Trustee Sewell?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. Okay, next thing, sorry, I'm talking.
Oh, you're fine.
We'll look.
And actually, to be honest, in the new business, we can add and talk about the budget. As long as we're not taking any action, we can add whatever
Okay.
we want on there.
Right,
If you wanna do that, we'll just add that.
15, okay. Okay, Approval of Resolution 2022 R08 in support of Madison County Park and Recreation Grants Commission. It's the PET grant loan. So here's, I just want to give you guys a little background. We had a meeting up at Madison County in the community development, and I asked Jim to come along, and he was a real big help. And it was a little different at first, but at the end of the meeting, I felt really confident. They gave us a list of things that they wanted. And basically, right now, we were eligible for around $25,000 a year for this senior center. And we went out in the past and got it. All these chairs were paid for with that grant. There's some workout equipment. And the way I explained it is we just don't need anything. I don't want to be wasting taxpayers' dollars on buying something that we really don't need. And so last year, we didn't even get the full amount of the $25,000 because it's only for the senior center. It's park or recreation. It's considered recreation. But on there, one thing that is eligible is a parking lot, purchasing land, or doing the engineering of the land. So after we explained it all, and Jim did it all, and I want to thank Jim so much for doing a lot of the paperwork after we left the meeting. So anyway, we submitted it, and I feel really good about it. And what it would be is we would get all of the $25,000. Around $25,000, it might be $23,000 a year, but for 5 years. So they would give us a check, say for around $125,000, okay, to go towards the engineering of our parking lot once we buy the land, okay? And then for 5 years, we wouldn't apply for that PEP grant. And so, but this board has to approve that we accept the grant.
Yeah, so we have, one of the things that we have to submit with our application is that, just like we did for Madison County on these things, is we have to have a resolution of support of the application for this. Because actually what it is, like you said, it's kind of like a loan, because they're going to give us the money all up front, and then each year they take the other $25,000 until it's all paid off. So they want to make sure that our board it's not just Eric and I telling them we want to borrow the money. It's the board.
Yeah, so this is just to accept that PEP grant, and
I motion that we approve the resolution 2022-R08 in support of Madison County Park and Recreation Grant Commission, PEP grant
Okay.
/ loan application.
all right.
So basically, that money is grant.
Mhm.
So I hesitate
No,
to
please.
use the word loan because of how misconceptions can.
Yeah, that's what,
arise.
they actually call it
They
that.
do, okay.
And the reason is, we do, so how it is, so the first $25,000, we don't pay any interest on, okay? So then the other $100,000, we actually pay 3% that year. So we will pay a little bit of money, it's not gonna be a lot, but on the loan, because they're loaning us $100,000. And then the next year, they're only loaning us $75,000. It just keeps going down. We only pay the interest on that loan amount. So it is a loan, but most of the money is a grant, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they, and they're very particular, they wanted.
Understood, and
They
I know
wanted
there's-
they wanted a lot of details. I had to go into a lot of details about, you name it.
I just wanted to clarify for the public there,
Yeah.
I'm sure that question is as soon as they hear the word loan, it's gonna
Yeah.
be a
Right,
strike zone.
but yeah,
Yeah,
after the grant, after 5 years, all the grant, they paid for the project, we just paid a little interest while we were getting the money.
But to Derek's point, the primary reason to do this is, instead of every year getting stuff, little things that we
Understood.
don't need,
No, absolutely.
we want to take the money and apply it to the parking lot project. And the way I wrote the application for the $125,000 to be used for the construction of the lot.
Right.
Because when we were in this meeting, they kind of said, well, it's kind of political. Well, it related to the purchase of the land, because a few people, tried to stir the pot a little bit about the purchase. So we wrote the grant application for use for construction.
Right.
And at the end of the day.
Dependent upon property.
We'll own the
Right.
property if it's through eminent domain or purchasing it.
And at the end of the day, the cost benefit is we're not gonna use the money, so we're gonna lose it. So we
Right.
might as well pay a little
Exactly.
bit to
Exactly.
borrow it and use it for what we need.
That's right.
Exactly, because like you said, if we don't apply for it, we don't come up
It
with
just
something.
goes away. We're not
We
gonna
don't
buy
come up
more
with
chairs.
something we need,
Yeah, last year we
this or
lost
that.
it,
Yeah, we lose
because
it.
we didn't really need anything. That was in the list of items that we could use it for.
But we're paying into it.
Right, absolutely, every
I-
person out
I'm
there.
just clarifying.
Yep.
It's that, what it is, if you remember, a number of years ago, we voted to approve a sales tax for the Metro East Park District. It's like a 0.5% or I think maybe it's 1/4%. Or no, I think it's 0.1% sales tax. And this money comes in, and the interesting thing is, which I didn't know, you know, so what they do is they take all this money in, and they dole it out to different municipalities, park districts, et cetera, by their,
How many parcels of land?
how many people live there.
How many people live
And
there?
in our case, we're getting money only basically for the people in the unincorporated area. We're not getting, City of Collinsville gets my money, and the
Right.
Village of Maryville gets his money.
Yeah.
But the people who live in the unincorporated areas like Brad, see, we're gonna get Brad's money.
Is $4.50.
Yeah.
Or we won't if we
Yeah,
don't use
if
it.
we don't use it,
Right.
it will just
So
go
that-
elsewhere.
That's what it is, so.
I second.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Ball.
Yes.
Trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Trustee Sewell.
Yeah.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna add an item
Okay.
to discuss the budget, which Derek mentioned, we have to
Yeah.
get posted for 30 days, so we can try to do this at the regular meeting and not have to have a special.
Yeah, so actually, it was in my, I had put it in my supervisor's comments, but I
Okay.
gave you guys a proposed budget. This is a draft, okay? And so we're not gonna pass this tonight. We're gonna post it so the public can see it. But before we move on, I just wanna say a highlight for me, for all of us, I think. If you look at the actual amount spent from this year compared to last year, last year we spent $602,223, that is in the town office, okay? The previous year, we spent over $1 million, so it was $400,000 less that we had spent. The assessor was just a little less, and so I just wanted to point that out. So it has everything on the first page, and then it breaks it down as we move forward. There's not a whole lot of changes in here. In some areas, we actually have to increase, but in certain areas, I was able to decrease some because I looked at what we did last year, and, you know, because I wanted to get to a point where we're within, you know, a couple $100,000, because even last year, altogether, we spent, with the assessor's office and my office, we spent just over $1 million, but we budgeted for $1.6 million. So to me, that still isn't, we could do better.
Yeah.
We can get closer, so we can track it better. So, that's what I'm working on, and, you know, just take this home, look at it, and you guys let me know. Just email me any concerns you have or any suggestions you have, and we can change it as we move forward.
I have one
Yes.
quick general question. I think when we were going over this last go around, we were looking to try and clean up some of these accounts. Have we done that?
Yeah, so
Or
that's,
Can we clean up anything else?
I agree. So I asked, and I think you were in the room when I asked our accountant that, I said, why can't we, because some of these are so small, and it's like they overlap. You could use, there's 3 accounts that could be used in office supplies. I don't understand that. And I just keep getting the answer, well, it's best to leave those in there. I don't know, does your office?
We don't have a lot of overlap, like, I've kind of cut some of that out.
So we can do that then.
I mean, if you have an account for office supplies, I don't know why you need to have several
Agreed,
accounts.
yeah.
Right, I mean, I don't understand it either.
Right.
Because you're not allocating costs by cost center or anything like that, right?
So then.
No, and the thing is, all this really, it all comes out of one account.
Right.
I mean, it's still one bank account, and it's just different line items.
Spend the
But I
line
mean,
item down to 0 and then let it sit for a couple years and then.
Just delete it, right? Because then it's so much easier to track when instead of having 50 different lines, we have maybe 15 different lines.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, spin it down with a caveat if anybody starts hollering. I mean, if no, do we even know if it's being used?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not so much spend it down because these line items, it's all under the general fund. I mean, you couldn't take, you know, a restricted fund down to there, but like, I'm looking here, publish, I mean, there's just a lot of overlay. I know what you're saying.
You're wanting to combine, yeah, now we have separate line items for like publishing.
Yeah, but we got like 102 of them.
Right, so, okay, I'm gonna work on that. I'm just gonna, and now that I know that we can absolutely do that.
I don't see why, I mean, if you need that amount of money, why can't you just have one fund?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
way I
if
see
That's
it.
what we're saying, yeah.
And I'm
I mean,
just
it's still
making a number here, I don't have an
publishing
accountant.
Regardless of what you're publishing,
I mean, if it's at $1,500 in it for 10 years, or 3 years, or 4 years.
And we haven't spent
I mean,
anything.
It's being
Right.
published as a cost of the township, right?
Right.
So it.
Okay, here's a perfect example. Contingency, and I asked this specific question, what's the difference between contingencies and miscellaneous expense?
okay, contingencies is an amount there that you can use for anything.
Right.
Any type of purchase, it's there if you're, something is unexpected. We had a lot of unexpected.
Right, and what's a miscellaneous expense?
Miscellaneous is expenses, like if you buy a,
You don't know where it goes.
yeah, if
Okay.
it's something that you weren't planning on, that's just a
There are
miscellaneous.
definitions.
Contingencies is like, we had a lot of expenses this year in
Mhm.
vehicle maintenance that we weren't planning on
Here,
because,
here's a great example. Officials bond, we have to have a bond on myself, okay? I had put that in our insurance, because that's what it is, it's insurance, okay? So it shows 0, 0, 0. Can't we just eliminate that whole line to your,
Probably not. Is there a potential for it to resurface?
no, we pay for it now. We pay for it now, but what I'm saying is that what we did last year is it just came out of the insurance because we pay for it with our insurance.
You better, it might be for auditing.
Right, so, and that's,
Yeah.
yeah, good question.
I think some of those accounts too, they're just like, they're state, you know, the state has a format.
State structure
And
and
this
they
is their
just never.
format, and we just follow that and we use the same accounts.
yeah, if
you
you're
know.
talking about getting off of zero, accounts that have zero added,
Yeah, if they're ones that you never ever use, and you haven't used for the past 10 years, then
Why, yeah, why not?
Why not
Clean
keep
it up.
but I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna work on that, and then any other suggestions, just feel free to reach out, but, what else did I have? I just wanted to, last month, a lot of people don't realize, and maybe even myself sometimes, that there's a lot of work that goes into that annual meeting, and Jim, I mean, worked his butt off, on that, and all the papers that were printed out for everybody, and there's a lot of work that goes into that, and I know it's stressful, and,
glad we only have it once a year.
anyway, and he helped me out with the grants and, just everything, so thank you so much. I mean, he's the best clerk in the world, so thank you, Jim.
Too kind.
No, seriously, I appreciate it. That's it. I'd like to, we'll have a motion to adjourn, and then we'll go into closed session to talk about a few items that only can be discussed in closed session.
Right, so we need a motion to adjourn to move to closed session to talk about two things. One, the collective negotiating matters, and then the second is the purchase or lease of real property.
yeah, motion to go into closed
Okay.
session.
Second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy this nice weather.